Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple things upcoming on the channel. Couple important things, some questions, so let's just dive right into it. Alright, so the next campaign that we're going to be doing is going to be Prussia. That was what was voted on by the poll. Now, I will tell you, unfortunately, I had a problem with the recording that I did for Prussia. I got like very far into the campaign, as you can see, 97 turns into the campaign, and I had a intern crash, and sadly that has wrecked the campaign as I was doing it. Now I have since restarted the campaign. I'm going to go into that in just a second. Let me load this up so you can see just where I had gotten with this campaign. It's just unfortunate because I was really rolling on this campaign and I was really enjoying it. I mean, this is just, it was so sad. And like I said, we'll get into it as quickly as I can. Alright. So you can see here as Prussia. Now, a couple things to note. I was able to work myself into becoming a constitutional monarchy, which is my favorite. And it was making me really good money, even considering the fact that I have like massive amounts of armies that I was building up for invasions and that kind of stuff. So I had a lot of stuff going on. And unfortunately, that was what some of the costs were. But all in all, things are going quite well. I had actually moved my policies to lower the taxes on my nobility, which you can see if I switch it around, I'll be making 22,000 every turn just by dropping that down. Takes it down to 14, so it's a loss of 6,000. But what that does is it does ramp up your growth tremendously. And like I said, I'd making 112 each turn, and if I switch that, I'll only making 79. So you can see the amount of wealth that's stacked turn after turn after turn. And once you get to that point where you're making about 10,000 a turn, and you're doing that regularly, or you're getting way over that amount, like I am, that's typically when I'm going to drop my taxes on my upper class, because 10,000 I always feel like is a pretty healthy income. If you're able to get to that point, you're on a roll, and if you're able to do that, you're really going to boost up your wealth long term. And the later you get in the campaign, you're just going to be making mad stacks of cash. So anyways, that's kind of where we were with that. The economy is really going well in this campaign, and I'll just show you with the what was going on with this campaign. Maratha had taken over India, and they just haven't done anything since, which is just bizarre. And I don't know if that's partly because the Ottomans had grown and they've actually taken Afghanistan. I don't know if that's the reason that they haven't, because usually they're hell-bent on knocking out whoever stands in front of them to carve their way through the Middle East and then going into, just whoever. Sometimes it's Russia, sometimes it's moving up into the Central Europe. But Maratha seems to always be that unstoppable force, and in this campaign, it just hadn't been the case. And you can see, like I said, the Ottomans were doing okay, but once Austria was down to Transylvania, Austria started taking over some of the regions in Europe, and then Poland, Lithuania ended up taking those. So that's kind of where that stands. We're still allies with Poland, Lithuania at this point. And then, of course, our regions here, which we have steadily improved on that. And Russia, you can see now, Russia's another interesting story in this, in the fact that they were really struggling against Sweden in this campaign. But Sweden was having their own struggles as it was as well. Because Sweden never took Norway. They actually took it, and I think they lost it immediately, and it actually became an emergent nation. So Norway was its own nation for probably about a good 5 to 10 years. And finally Sweden had taken Norway, and then to get peace with Russia, they had given Norway to Russia, and that gave them peace. But they did end up getting Karelia from them. So, but Sweden is just down to 4 regions. They have Tunisia as well, Tunis, and so that's where Sweden and Russia stand. And Spain is just down to 2 regions here. Of course, they got their American regions, but other than that, they're pretty dead in the water. They're at war with me currently, and that's why they're at that point. I've almost got them knocked out of this. Sweden is just down, like I said, to what they got. We already talked about them. USA is an emergent nation, so they've got their 13 colonies rolled in, and that's because I did knock out Britain, and I'll explain that shortly. And of course, the Barbary States down in 1 region. Cherokee are still around. Courland, Denmark still around. Hanover, the Huron, the Inuit, Iroquois, Knights of St. John, Morocco. Yes, Morocco is still around, guys. Isn't that incredible? Portugal was around for a long time as well. Mysore is still around. The Plains Nations, Quebec, and Venice. Quebec was emergent after France fell, so that's why they're around. Now, so on this campaign, why did it fail? It was because of an intern crash. If I hit this intern, it's going to crash, and it's going to be bad, so I'm not even going to do it. But what happened is one of the British fleets here in the trade node was sailing into this trade node, and then it just would crash. And sadly, that was the intern crash. So I figured I could fix that. And I had an army here in France, and I had one here in Flanders, and I had, of course, another one here. Actually, 2 armies in Amsterdam. So I took 2 armies up here to England, and I sent one of them to Ireland. I'm sorry, one to Scotland, and I took Scotland and moved our army right after that to Dublin and took that. So knocked Britain out, and thought I had fixed the thing. Hit the intern and got to, of course, Britain, which wasn't there anymore. So obviously we're advancing through the turns then, which Britain was the first one up on the intern. So obviously it crashed right on their intern. So we were going through, everything was fine, got all the way to the end. Just before the pirates is Quebec, and guess who crashed me? It was Quebec. Those bastards, Quebec, they ended up being the next culprit for the intern crash, and there's really nothing I can do to fix it. Now, I did have a save that I could go back 7 turns, and even then, I was still not able to fix it. I tried everything I could to fix the intern crash, but in this instance, I was not able to eliminate Quebec nor fix the problem. So it is what it is. It's just I didn't have the naval power, and I don't have the means to be able to ramp up the research to be able to. I'm sorry, not the research, but the ships to be able to get me over to Quebec in time and take them out in those. It's basically 6 turns. So there it is. As sad as it is. Yeah. So there we are. This campaign is done. Now, I did start the new Prussia campaign, and I will tell you, I did it way differently than I have done a Prussia campaign. I wanted to do it completely different. So this is going to be important for you to know that I'm going to start it off maybe a little bizarre, which is kind of cool because we might see some different things, hopefully, as we go through it. I've gotten quite a bit of the ways in. I don't want to give you any spoilers to what happened. But anyways, the Russia campaign is almost over with. Just probably a few more episodes and the Russia campaign will be done. Just finalizing that. I've already got a couple episodes uploaded and got a couple more to edit, and then we'll be done with the Russia campaign. And once again, after the Prussia campaign is put up, and finished, then I'll be moving on to the Ottomans, and then I'll probably do another poll to see what nation we do after that. So there we are, and that's where things stand. Now, the question I have for you guys, if you're still around at this point in the video, is what do you feel about the campaign? Obviously, we're talking about the Russia campaign. Seems like the viewership was pretty good, and the watch time on it seems to be really good up until probably the last 10 to 12 episodes. The watch time has decreased quite a bit, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of the battles get kind of repetitious at that point. It starts to be kind of a steamroll. Once you get past a certain point when the campaign no longer seems somewhat in doubt, or how are you going to get out of these little problems, that leaves the mystery out, and I think that loses some of the viewership and the interest. So but I want to ask you guys, do you like the format of continually to edit the videos, or do you like them just live, pushed all the way through the video? Because I have had some comments asking, or enjoying the live videos a little bit more. And I will tell you that at least for the Russia campaign, the watch time has been a lot higher than other campaigns I've done. And other campaigns I've edited quite a bit. When I first started doing campaigns, I didn't edit them at all, and the watch time was terrible. But of course, that was when the channel was pretty new, and that could be some of the factors why. But anyways, I started heavily editing the videos and trying to make them a little bit more interesting to follow. I wanted to do something different from what other people did, and I actually see some people kind of editing their videos similarly to how I had started doing them. Not to say that I was the first or anything, but I have seen some similarities to it. But anyways, let me know what you think on that. What direction do you want to see the campaign done? Now, I will tell you again, on this Prussia campaign, I've recorded quite a bit of footage. So once we get to the later part of the campaign, I am not showing some of the battles that I feel like are ultra repetitive, that we've done over and over and over in the campaign to that point. I think it's just kind of like a waste of time. So I might give like little highlights, interesting bits and tidbits in the battle. But if the battle isn't super unique, I plan on moving past it. But unless you guys tempt me otherwise. But anyways, that's the questions I got. What do you guys think? Appreciate you guys as always for joining in on these campaigns. They're a lot of fun to do, and they definitely motivate me to keep going on some of these campaigns when they get kind of frustrating. So I appreciate you guys for being such loyal supporters. As always, I'm signing off. Any other questions, please leave them below in the comments, and we will see you on the next video, guys.